welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I am your host, Christine Innes, and I'm super delighted to have the very fabulous Laura-Doe joining me today. So welcome.
Thank you, Christine. Lovely to be here.
I'm so excited because I've gotten to know you for a little bit now. You were also featured in one of our issues of our magazine as well. So I'm going to pop the details below so people can go and check out your story as well. But I just love what you're all about, like the self-love, just obviously just embracing everything about yourself. But before we dive in deep, I'm going to hand it over to you and you can share with our amazing audience a little bit about what you do, and then we can just sort of dive deep into some conversation.
Thank you, Christine. Yes, so I'm delighted to be here. My name's Laura-Doe, as Christine told you, and my official title is a somatic sex educator. And a lot of people go, well, what does that mean? Do understand sex educator. What's the somatic bit? Well, somatic means of the body. And so my style of education and work is really focusing in on the body and what changes can we make, what practices can you do, what experiences can you have in your body, because guess what? When we have intimacy, we are in the body. And it's actually our lack of connection with the body that is often one of the issues with our intimate relating. So my work is about supporting both men and women, although I focus very much on women because I am a woman and I feel like I have a lot more to say about being a woman. But I support men and women to connect and with pleasure, be it sexual pleasure or just the sort of everyday pleasure that we sometimes don't really focus on. Because my strong belief is that the more pleasure we can consciously bring into our lives, the better everything is. And certainly science backs me up with that. And I come from a pretty practical background, from an academic background. So I call my business the Yoniversity, Yoni being the Sanskrit word for the female reproductive system, and a little pun on university, because I'm really trying to provide evidence-based material for people to improve their relationships with their bodies and their intimate relationships with their partners.
And I love what you're doing because I think, and like I can take it back even, for my journey. It was also, for me, from where I went to where I am now, it was actually about learning to love myself. And that was also just embracing everything about me. And I think the more we can do that, it is what you said, it allows so much passion to come into our lives that it's almost like this beautiful ripple effect that happens, once we're, so happy and that everybody else around us seems to sort of get infected by it all. And I don't know whether or not that's the right word to use right now with COVID all happening, but it's just sort of like it's infectious. When someone's laughing and someone's happy, people are drawn to that. And I think that sometimes we forget that we can actually take that control back and actually make ourselves happy by learning to love ourselves, every single part of what we have and what we can give to other people as well.
Yes, yeah, I totally agree. And even and one of the things that I've been doing myself, and which I often invite my clients and people to do, is a very simple meditation where you breathe in and out through your heart. And my experience of this was that I was able, through this meditation, to generate the feelings of love that I had always associated with being from someone outside of me, that sort of heart opening kind of, oh, isn't that beautiful that you're there, even for children and pets and so on, those sorts of loving feelings. And I discovered I could generate those feelings for myself just by focusing on breathing in through my heart. And that makes me a much more loving person.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't rely on somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm very much about women in particular, not um, sort of breaking that image that we have to rely on our partner for pleasure, that we have to rely on another person
Mm.
to give us what we want. And yes, that's wonderful if there's someone there to do it. But in the absence of someone in this moment, the more we can become empowered to create our own pleasure, be it sexual pleasure or just loving, self-caring pleasure, then the better the world is.
Mm.
That's what they say. When mama's happy, everyone's happy.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what you're saying, like, I think, and I've experienced it a lot in my life that, I feel unhappy and you sort of want everybody else around you to make you happy because you think, oh, okay, well, your kids should do this, your parents should do this, your partner should do this.
Mm.
But really, it comes back. That responsibility relies on you. And there's so much that we can do. And a lot of the times when we're unhappy is because there's something that is going against our grain. And for me, it's values, it's, not following my passion or not speaking my voice. But taking that ownership, I feel that once you are more happier within yourself, your actual relationships change too, because people realize that you're not sort of expecting stuff from them, so
Mhm.
therefore you can give more and they actually want to give you more too. Hopefully that makes sense, but like I just sort of feel like you have to give to yourself first before, and learn that before you can even give and receive
Yes,
from other people as well.
yes. It's like on the aeroplane, there's you always hear, put your own life mask on, oxygen mask on before helping one and someone else. And I think if we took that lesson out into our lives, we literally can't help someone else if we are deprived of life-giving
Mm,
oxygen. So we really aren't being the best that we can be if we are depriving ourselves of the important um, uh, the important physiological aspects that pleasure give us.
mm,
And they literally do, when we have a pleasurable moment or a pleasurable sensation, then our immune system is boosted.
mhm,
Our nervous system goes into a more relaxed state. And these things are really crucial in our stress-filled world
mm,
um, to focus on. And they will help us deal with. I'm a great one for pleasure moments. You've got something big and stressful going on. Okay, 5 minutes is not going to make a difference in whether you can do that thing or not.
yeah.
But well, it actually, what I'm trying to say is it will make a difference if
Mm,
you devote that 5 minutes to real nurturing, pleasurable self-care.
yeah.
And then you're juiced up, your cup is fuller, and you'll be able to go out and do the challenging thing better. Write the
Mm.
article, do the job, whatever it is.
Yeah, I always come back, and this is going to show you how girly I can actually be. There's a movie which is Elle Woods, and she's off there, and she's going into be a lawyer, Legally Blonde it's called, and she's there, and they're talking about this law case, and they're going, oh, but and the person who apparently is accused of the bad thing going, oh, well, endorphins are meant to make you happy, and you can't do that. And I keep coming back to that because those endorphins that we can do, it actually makes us happy. And you're right, it relieves the stress, it makes us actually healthier. And in addition to that, I find that it gives me more clarity, but also creativity in my business as well, because I'm sort of in that sort of beautiful sort of moment. I'm like going, okay, well, what makes me happy? Spending time with my family, like, doing all those different things. find what works for you and do more of it, because it's going to change everything in your life. But we sometimes forget to make ourselves happy.
Yes, there's a real culture of work and achievement is the most important
Mm,
thing. And I think women in particular, I think they suffer more
mm,
from that culture.
mm,
We can do it and we do it, but we're less even designed physiologically than men to go go go.
mm,
Men are more designed to just keep going, keep going, keep going. As women, we are designed to kind of, we're not really designed for single focus. We
yeah.
can do it, but it's so much better if we can have multiple sensate focus, yeah, focus foci that really help us to, yeah, draw in those creative sparks
Mm,
and and bring in the ideas. I often if I've got to write something or create something or do something, I'll stop thinking about it completely and I'll go for a walk on the beach and just let the inspiration come to me, or have a really lovely warm bath and just be in that still
mm,
space where those, or do a pleasure practice, because the creativity that comes after an orgasmic experience is magical.
mm.
It really is a gift, um, to experience heightened states of pleasure and then open to the possibilities of what needs to happen next.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone's watching this right now and they're thinking, okay, well, how can I guess sometimes give myself the permission, to be able to allow that into my life. Is there a question, or if there's, do you have a workbook or something like that that they can actually go through to be able to, I guess, give them that self the permission to teach them, to help them to be able to do that?
Mm. What I do have a DVD, well, old school talk DVD. It's a video resource which is available as a download, although I've still got lots of DVDs in my garage, if anyone still has that technology. So I've got it's called The Art and Science of Female Arousal. And although it doesn't specifically answer your question, which I will get to, what I've hoped to do within the video is just to really explain how our bodies are so elegantly and fully designed for pleasure.
Mm,
Because a lot of women do not really know the amazing orchestra of
mm,
um, pleasure organs that we have, pleasure spots. We usually, as one woman said after coming to a workshop of mine, oh my God, there was I just playing my fiddle, and now I realize I've got a whole orchestra to play.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
So that's a great resource. But the question of that permission is really a great question. Um, and I feel like the way we need to get to it is we've got to really reprogram ourselves.
Mm,
And so it's a question, it's about asking more and more questions about what are the voices in your head? Who are the voices in your head that are
mm,
saying, oh no, you shouldn't do that, oh no, and we can't
mm,
do that? And that's what I work with individual clients, is really honing in on, okay, well, who's saying that? Maybe
mm,
who actually said that to you? Often it does come from our past, or it's a generalized message that
mm.
we've been given. And is that the truth of
Yeah.
you? Is that really your truth? And
Yeah.
if it's not, then there's techniques and ways and strategies of recognizing those voices when they come up and going, no thanks, that's actually not my truth. And I feel like we have a huge amount of wisdom in the feminine body. And if we can become more and more connected with our womb or womb space, we don't even have to have a physical womb, it's just a part of us, that our intuition bubbles up from there. And if we it's almost like a wise grandmother. And usually if we connect with that wise space, our body knows that yes, this break, this pleasure, this experience that I want to have is good for me,
Mm,
really good on all levels. And yeah, that I deserve it. That's another thing that we get um, caught up on, that sort of
mm,
sense of lack of self-deservement. And another big issue for many women is shame. And
mm,
shame rears its head in many different ways. Often that kind of, oh no, no, I shouldn't, is somewhere a kind of a little bit of a shame response.
mm.
So that's another thing I work with people to kind of normalize that and inspect it for what it is and see how do we change that, because we
Yeah.
really can.
Yeah, and I think what you're doing, it really is needed. I think as we go through life, and we experience different things. It is those old stories that we need to let go of. It is just those, it could come from parents. It could come even from reading a book. Like I think of all the fairy tales that we've read, and you wake up and you're like going, well, holy crap, that is not how life really is. So, there's all these different things that we do need to. And I just want to say thank you so much for what you're doing, and, what you're bringing out into the world. And, can people work with you from all around the world? Do you do sessions via Zoom, or is it just in person?
No, they absolutely can work with me from all around the
Mm.
world, as long as we can find a time frame in which we're both awake. I
Yeah.
do have clients in the UK, so, and that's the most opposite pretty much to
Yeah.
us. So it is workable. And yes, so yeah, I work with people all over the world, and I'm very happy to do that. Um, and yeah, I'm sure you're going to provide all the links and so on.
Absolutely. I'm going to put all the links of how you can reach out to Laura-Doe below. And honestly, I highly recommend that you just go and read what she's all about, and jump over also to our website, because there's an amazing article in our issue for the Corporate Escapist magazine, where she shares more of this beautiful journey that she's gone through. And again, I'm super excited. I think we're going to have to get you to come back, because I think there's so many more subjects that we need to talk about and really share with the world as well, so that we can help educate people, but also to help changing some of those stories that are being told, so that we can all start to embrace and actually celebrate life so much more, and bring that passion back within ourselves as well.
Absolutely. And I do think the future is female. I think the more women can embrace their femininity, their feminine nature, the more we're going to be able to overcome the challenges that we're faced with as a planet.
Yeah.
Um, yes.
I completely agree with you. So I just want to say a big thank you for being here today, sharing more about your beautiful journey, but also what you're doing and how you're helping so many amazing people as well. So thank you so much, Laura-Doe, for being here.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you to everyone who has watched this episode of the Corporate Escapist TV show. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. If you've got any comments for Laura-Doe or myself, make sure you drop them below. We'll be happy to reach out to you and answer them as well. Again, I'm going to put all the links of where you'll be able to reach out to Laura-Doe. I highly recommend that you get in contact with her and follow her on social media, but also hop over to her website as well. Remember to follow your passion, dream big, and live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.